Good Friday morning, everybody. So I thought I would go into a little more detail about plans that I have coming up here for the property. So first off, I'll give you an idea, a little bit of the evolution of the property that it's been for us since we bought it. So when we first bought the property, we bought it with the intention of this being just for recreation, just recreation for us and our family and friends, and someplace that we would maybe only spend 2, maybe 3 months a year. And then after we decided to come here and spend a lot longer here last year, basically we decided that we eventually would like to live here full time and we'd like to build a house here. In the last 2 months, after doing an exhaustive amount of research, I have decided that I want to make this into a real productive food producing homestead / small farm. It's not something that was necessarily, in my, book of lifelong dreams, but, farming is in my blood. It's in my family. I have a large family back in Illinois that farms thousands and thousands of acres and grows wheat and hogs and all kinds of different stuff. And, my grandparents and Sue's dad and my great-grandparents all grew up on farms. I honestly never really thought of this property as being that because, like a lot of other people, I thought of it as, just kind of a desolate place and, you can't really do much with it until I started learning about rainwater harvesting. And, basically you farm rain and you farm soil, and growing all of the plants and everything is just a secondary thing. I've never wanted something so much in my life. I can truly see a vision, a purpose, and a direction to go for the rest of my life. I'm still in the process of doing research. So at this point, I have probably watched, maybe a couple hundred hours of informational videos about permaculture and about all of the different techniques and everything involved. I'm still in the process of walking around and taking a lot of time and doing very careful observation of the land to get a very good plan and idea of exactly what I want to do. And if you look into the principles of rainwater harvesting, the number one principle is long, careful, thought out observation. I have been here now for just about a year continuously through and have seen all 4 seasons. And it's given me a lot of time to really very carefully look at the land. And this last precipitation we've had, I've been very carefully watching this land every single day to see how it dries and the way it's drying. And like even in the areas that get dried out with the sun, how they'll re-moisten overnight, which means that there's moisture deep down. Those are all videos to come much, much later down the road in the future.
Come on, homie. Getting ready to go for a walk. So apparently today in the sky, it looks like the angels were having a hardcore game of tic-tac-toe or something. A while back, someone had sent that to us, but they packaged it so poorly at the facility or whatever they bought it from that it broke in the mail. And so when it got here, it was broken. But I glued it back together, so it's out here. Broken, but still beautiful. Yay.
This is going to be the future site of my garden. I'm actually going to make 2 garden areas. And this garden area will be here for several years. This is going to be what's called our kitchen garden. This is going to be where we have all of the more delicate things growing and everything that's all the vegetables and fruits that are seasonal. The area I've decided to make right here, I'm going to make the length of the shipping container. So I'm going to make a 20 by 40 garden area, fenced in garden area. So what I'll do is I'll come out right here. I'll come out 20 feet and then I'll go down 40 feet to the end, and then I'll come over, and of course, the generator will be moved. And then over here in this area, I'm going to do a 25 foot by 25 foot area, and I'm going to put in a 3 sisters garden, but I'm actually going to do 4 sisters. And there's many different types of mounds to do based on which region it came from and which tribe. So I'm probably going to do closer to like the Zuni method because of its drought tolerance. So I plan on having 20 mounds inside of this fenced area I'm going to make. So I'm going to make a 25 by 25 fenced area out of juniper. The big thing is I'm just making it to keep out the cows and to keep out the rabbits and the deer and the elk. Otherwise, the pack rats, I'm going to have to deal with them separately. I mean, let's get real. They can get in no matter what. To give you an idea right here on this juniper tree, if I was to cut this down, okay, I can see just by looking at it, there's at least 6 fence posts and probably 6 or 7 side rails and a number of straight small pieces that can be used as slat. That's just one tree. What it allows me to do when I build my garden here against the shipping container, it's going to do 3 things. One, I'm going to be able to use the thermal mass of the shipping container to my advantage. The warmth of that shipping container is going to allow me to get things started much earlier, okay? I can also run plastic down from the top across the entire garden to kind of act like a little mini greenhouse. Along the back wall, I'm going to build some structures out of natural wood. It's going to allow all of the things that I plant that are vine type to climb. So I'll have like the climbing yams and sweet potato vines climbing. There's some types of beans that I can do. And what's going to happen is as they climb, they're going to start shading the container more and more, which will keep the container cooler and cooler. I'm just going to see what I can do with it. And, you know, it's either going to work out really well or it's not. But either way, this is the direction I'm going to go with this garden for this year. And this is the spot I'm going to do it. The shipping container is going to also help as a windbreak. It's going to help slow the really, really windy times down, which is going to help a lot for me. So also over in this area, I'm going to build a large compost manufacturing area, okay, where I'm going to have probably 2 or 3 piles going. And I've been doing a lot of research, and believe it or not, as long as the temperatures during the day get above 50, 55, I mean, you can make some good compost. And I have found out some ways of making the compost in as little as like 30 days. And I'm going to need quite a bit of compost. I mean, that's going to be my #1 fertilizer out here. So what my plan is to make the compost is that I have a lot of grass here that is still alive, okay? I have a lot of this grass is still alive. So what my plan to do is to go around and cut as much of it off as I can from around like this. It's going to be a little bit labor intensive, but I'm going to get as much of this green organic material as I can, the green and the brown. I'm also going to use, Aja has a wood chipper. I'm also going to use the wood chipper to chip quite a bit of different wood and things like that. I have, you know, 3 full containers of the last 1.5 years of food scraps. And all those food scraps are basically, they're just food scraps with dirt mixed. So I can mix all that into my compost as well. I also have out here at the times when the cows come through, there are many spots where I've walked around and I've found fresh piles of manure. So I'm probably going to collect all that up and use it. Everything necessary to make this into some of the richest soil on earth is all here on the property now. I don't need to buy anything. I just need to manufacture my own soil. You know, I'm not too proud to say, if somebody wants to be the ranch sugar mama or the ranch sugar daddy, and you know, you want to make a lot of these things happen, you're more than welcome to. I fixed the driveway completely. I've already drove over this a bunch of times and packed it down. I added in rock, and there's actually a lot of rock underneath here. So, and normally this is not a problem. This is only a problem in the winter because it froze and it didn't dry out. As soon as this had 1 day to dry out, me and Scout can walk on it now, and it can be driven on. Basically, I just used a shovel and a rake. It didn't take that long to get it all filled in. And then before it had a chance to dry or anything, and it got too set, I drove the Navigator over and repacked it down so that once this dries, it'll be back to the way it was. It'll be like it never happened. Okay, I added 25 more pounds, so now I've got 55 pounds on there. So yeah, let's see what this does. Yeah, this was a really high spot right here. Same with this. And this, you know, the ground right here is really hard. This has never been dug up before. So the other day, I did about 20 laps with the new track groomer, and I forgot to record the finished product. So I'm going to take you on a quick lap and show you. It is so flat, and honestly the razor gets so much better traction around a lot of the corners because it is really flat and really smooth. So let me take you along here real quick and show you. I'm actually able to go faster on these conditions when it's dry, and I'm not sliding as much. I'm in two-wheel drive right now, and I'm going about 5 miles an hour faster on this track than I could in these same conditions before I did the grading. It made such a huge difference.
Take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Ask me how we got here, 'cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's flow for now. Let's take it slow.